Everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 13th episode of Dino Supercharge, Recipe for Disaster. Oh boy, this is the best one yet since the season resumed. Now it starts out innocently enough. In the cafe, as usual. This time a food critic's here, and she orders a pavlova, which is some sort of New Zealand pastry cake. I never heard of it until seeing this episode, and I looked it up real quick. Seems like something I might try one day. Anyway, she orders it and Chase is trying to perfect it. She going over the same recipe several times, but it explodes in his face time and time again, including the one when it presents to this critic and explodes in her face, gets all over her clothes and her designer handbag, and she leaves out angry, as about anyone should be, vowing to give the restaurant the worst review she's ever given. So, oh boy, they're in deep crap now. But back in the command center, Chase is trying to perfect the recipe there, but also Keeper explains what the Dark Energem is. Actually, that's how the episode starts. Picks up right where the last one left off. Basically, the evil residue left behind from when the good Energems were created a Dark Energem, which had power at least equal to the other 10. And it was hidden away on a planet called Sentai 6. Yeah, I see what you did there, Saban. Name planet after the Sentai. Very clever. I didn't expect you to pull that one on us. Anyway, some mysterious warlord found the Energem on the planet and blew it up. And no one knows what's happened to it since then. And Chase realizes that his Energem is missing because it fell into the mixture and into the food critic's handbag when everything exploded, doing all that commotion, so he runs off to track her down. But the real fun of the episode has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with the food dilemma and nothing to do with the Dark Energem. Instead, it has to deal with Heckle. Yes, Heckle takes the spotlight definitely for this episode. Wrench builds him a monster robot called Fortress, which knows the abilities of every Megazord so it can counter everything it does. But before they can spring into action right away, Singe returns to the planet in his golf ball space pod. Why does it look like a golf ball of all things? It ain't the Technodrome. By this time, he's accompanied by his boss, Arcanon, along with his other minion, Doomwing. And Arcanon explains that he hired Sledge to get a bunch of prisoners to recruit to make an army for himself, and he's come to collect the bounties and his servants, including Heckle. And Heckle tries to blast him, but his power is no match for it. Instantly, he's just taken back with a single shot from the hand, similar to Heckle's, but more fiery than lightning. So as soon as that happens, Snide takes over the body, and he magna beams Fortress to, take him out quickly. However, they have a secret weapon up their hands. They can control the Power Ranger Zords. Unfortunately, they're losing that battle because Fortress was meant to be the anti-Megazord. And so it defeats every formation except for one of the Titanozord, which Arcanon just says, screw it, we're going back. And the Rangers, doing all of this, their charges will not work on their Zords. So that's just great. The Rangers watching the city be destroyed. And while this is happening, Chase finds the food critic and he gets the Energem back. Though she's still really snooty and prissy about it. Then again, she's still covered in cake mix, so understandable. But the city's kind of being roughed up by these two giant enemies battling. And so he knocks her over to protect her from the debris. To which, to show her gratitude, she explains to Chase, you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Mix it up a little, use your intuition. And of course she's talking about the cooking. So Chase goes to join the Rangers, and with the new enemies leaving, they're able to control the Zords again, and they use the Titanozord, which even that is being countered by Fortress. That is until Morgan shows up, and she says using a Titanozord plus the original 5 can combine to make the Dino Charge Ultra Zord. And this one, as far as Ultra Zords go, isn't the most impressive one I've seen, but it's alright. You got Ivan and Kendall when they are just to have the whole team, except a couple others that have joined off and on. Anyway, now Snide is losing, at which point Heckle takes over. He says, "A Megazord is a Megazord, you have to adapt." Unfortunately, the finishing move for the Ultra Zord just fires a bunch of different colored lights from his chest and just blows up Fortress, and knocks Heckle out of it onto the ground, to which Arcanine uses his power to lift him up, then slam him down. It's like his hand has a gravity gun. And so he's taken back and thrown back into solitary confinement. And Singe just says that Heckle should just be destroyed, but no, he'll be useful. And then he opens up this big book he has, which has some ominous light glowing in it. He says, "What I have here will destroy even the Rangers." Oh yeah, and he's taken over the ship. I mean, Fury, Wrench, Poisandra, and Curio are all backing away from him. Really, Poisandra and Curio, they're not even minions. They're basically just guests there. They have nothing to do now because Sledge is gone. So yeah, that's pretty creepy, but for one little scene of hope, no, two scenes actually. First is in the cafe, where Chase uses his grandmother's recipe. 2 episodes mentioning grandmothers, how about that? For Pavlova, when the food critic returns, and it doesn't explode, and she loves it. And she says, after review, you're gonna be getting a hell of a lot more orders of these. Good job. You even topped it off with a little New Zealand flag, that's cute. And in the command center, they're talking about how they were able to replicate the Dino Chargers, because the only one that had the information was the Silver Ranger. However, the good Energems will not bond to someone evil, which means the only way they would have gotten that information is if the Silver Ranger was captured by Arcanine. So great. Enemy has their info, plus they have a rescue mission. And it's a new enemy with powers that we don't even know what their limits are now. I gotta say, it's pretty unexpected, where we have twice or even a few times where the villain just kept getting overshadowed and replaced by another one. And this time, it's by one half returning. How about that? So yeah, this is a huge shift in the season, and it ups the stakes greatly. But we also know the Silver Ranger has to be in the next episode, because it's going to be about rescuing him before his Energen can be used for nefarious purposes. And who knows what kind of really clever and destructive plot Singe and Doomwing and Arcanine have planned. Huge interest in the next episode. I can't wait to review it for you. Definitely see this episode. It's a really good one. The best we've had since the season got back on track. Now, I'm Jargus Zero. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Until then, let the power protect you.